So your competitor just rolled out their Black Friday sale and it's 30% of everything. And now you're wondering, do we do one too? This is the same conversation that goes in every Medspa owner's head right now. Do we join the party? Do we pull the trigger on Black Friday? Or do we hold fire? And the thing that nobody really acknowledges is that this decision will single-handedly determine the entire course of 2026. And it's not because of the revenue you pick up on in November. It's because of the perception of the market. It's how you train your prospects to start thinking about your business. I'll get to that in a second. Now, having worked with over 70 med spas in the last 18 months, I recognize that some of you should absolutely pull the trigger on Black Friday. Huge opportunity. It will be the best month of your year, period. But some of you, it will just destroy and erode that perception, that premium brand feel that you're trying to preserve in your med spa. And so different outcomes, although the tactics are the same. So the question stands, which ones should you actually do? And in this video, I want to explain the strategic decision behind whether you should or you shouldn't, and not just the top surface level discounts bad kind of thing that you see flashed everywhere. I want to present a coherent narrative, a thought out process, a decision process, so that you know exactly where you stand. Because the 7-figure med spas, they know exactly where they stand. They feel their market and they know when to pull the trigger, when to hold fire, because, you know, the absence of a discount makes the heart grow fonder, if that makes sense. And so with that being said, let's dissect this whole thing. Let's dive right in. Alrighty, so let's dive right in. The case for seasonal promos with ads. In my opinion, med spas are perfect for seasonal campaigns because aesthetic treatments have natural timings. There's a correlation between when people want their treatments and around the tentpole moments. Laser hair removal peaks before summer, body contouring peaks before summer and in spring as well. That one's pretty much an evergreen one all year round. And then as we go into the winter and clothes get put on, double chin, turkey neck, saggy jowls, facial aesthetics tend to sort of reign supreme. And so, and also on top of that, you have the buyer behavior, people that are already primed to buy during holidays. November, December is when they're already in buying mode. Black Friday has especially conditioned people to expect deals, and it makes purchase decisions quickly. You're riding a wave. Okay, the other key advantage to running these moments is that urgency creates decisiveness. This is the core reason why people don't buy. The biggest unspoken objection is that they think, I need to think about it, and they just procrastinate until the pain of inaction isn't greater than the cost to pay. People are not making the decision, and so the incentives, the deadline, do force them over the fence. This directly addresses your ghost lead problems, people's flakiness to paying a deposit, to actually booking and showing up. Now, of course, this is something you're going to have to do with ads because the organic reach is completely throttled and suppressed on both Facebook and Instagram. Even if you have thousands of followers, they don't see your stuff. You get 50, 100 views on your post. Easy one to fix. You can literally just run a boost behind the post, but ideally, of course, you know a stance, run a paid ad where you can set your targeting, your criteria, and control the scaling of that campaign predictably. Why? Because transparently, and just to give you a bit of a look ahead, sometimes you'll start a campaign in the summer or Black Friday and it will continue to perform long after the moment has passed, and you don't want to kill it. Why would you turn something that's performing off, right? Alrighty, and so with ads, you can obviously piggyback on these other benefits as well. You can target your existing database. You can retarget website visitors who've been researching. You can use lookalikes to find new people actively in the market, and finally control the urgency, messaging, and scarcity. So if I was to summarize the benefits of running a Black Friday campaign from a marketing tactical standpoint, it's basically this. You can be aggressive with your list. You can retarget all of your visitors who haven't pulled the trigger yet. You can even find new ones that fit and match the profile, and just ride this whole urgency and scarcity in a way that's natural, non-salesy, not gimmicky. Alrighty, now a few words of caution. Do not go with price discounts, 20% off filler. Everyone does the same thing. Lead with transformation, holiday ready lips. We did one before Halloween, lean before Halloween. They work extremely well. They differentiate your offer, decommoditize it, make it look like something new, and they also give a reason. There's a psychological reason in the title itself. Create legitimate scarcity. This one's actually really smart, especially if you're struggling with staffing. You're going to get an influx of new leads, of new appointments. So then it makes complete sense to create real scarcity. How many people can you actually fulfill without sacrificing and compromising? We'll get to that in a second. You really don't want to sacrifice quality for quantity. Use it to book consultations, not just to sell packages blind. Essentially, you have two avenues you can go down on. You can either consult, free consultations, free prescriptive based consultations, or you can just sell packages right out the bat. Both of them are going to work, especially if you're going to put a good price on them, a price discounting. And of course, don't forget that your staff still has to follow up on these leads. You have to treat them with the utmost respect, because there's going to be a lot of noise. Your competition is fighting for the same leads, and if you're warming them up with a text, with an email, with an ad, and then you don't follow up with them, they'll go to just sally down the road. Okay. For Black Friday specifically, you would need to allocate 2 to 3 times of your normal ad spend for that week, because the cost to show the ads to 1,000 people is rising. That's the CPMs. So bear that in mind if you want to make hay while the sun shines and really leverage this so it's worth the while and the effort of planning it. Put some serious budget behind it, because it will pay off. Now let's look at the pros and the cons at a glance. So as I was saying, from a cash flow and revenue standpoint, the pro is really self-explanatory. You front load on cash, especially before businesses slow down in December and January. You create a nice cash injection that you expect, and you know what it's going to be like next year as well. The higher volume can offset lower margins, of course, because you have your fixed costs, your overheads that stay fixed, and then the volume makes up for some of that. And you get money in the door before the year end, in case you want to start planning your tax opportunities. From a client acquisition standpoint, obviously you're basically going to get a lot of new clients coming in that you can upsell into memberships and packages. The caveat to that is obviously you have a very robust sales process in place. If you don't, treat it as a sales learning opportunity. This is the time to really give volume to your team. Quantity has a quality unto itself, remember, and get them to actually train to sell those packages and incentivize them, give them commissions. Lower barriers for fence sitters who need a reason to finally book, of course. That's the discount, scarcity, and urgency. And then it gives you a legitimate reason to hit your base without feeling salesy. 100%. This is the best one from a client acquisition standpoint. There's nothing more organic and natural than saying happy Friday, happy Black Friday, let's get going. And it creates urgency across the entire user journey. From a market positioning, it just shows that you're active and competing. So it creates that salience, means presence in people's minds when they're looking to make that decision. It gives you clients content to share. Obviously, you can go viral if you do it right. I saw a winter arc last year with a Medspa owner who was basically doing a service every single day. That was amazing. Got her a lot of eyeballs organically. If you put that on ads, that's basically running the campaign on steroids. If competitors run promos and you don't, you look out of touch or overpriced. That's the counterpoint to that. Of course, if you want to stay premium, then it makes sense to tactically do that. We'll get to that in a second. From an operational standpoint, you fill schedule gaps, especially during January's dry out if you start pre-selling in November. So mind you, you can absolutely start pre-selling in November rather than looking to cash grab straight away. So you can delay the gratification and cushion the blow for January if you know that historically speaking you have a lower month in January. It gives your staff a goal event to rally around. It's incredible how much motivation the staff can get from having this sort of thing that they gear around and they focus on, like some sort of sprint, if that makes sense. A mini campaign, a mini sprint before the Christmas downtime. And it obviously allows you to test new offers and messaging at scale quickly, because you're going to pump up more ad spend, because you know that you can get away because of your more aggressive offers with way more testing, which will pan out. As a cons, of course, trains clients to wait for deals. Why pay full price in March if Black Friday exists? It is something that you can feel, especially at larger scales, but it's something that I wouldn't worry about too much, because if someone really wants a service, if someone has been holding fire on achieving their dream body, pulling the trigger on body contouring or laser hair removal, they're going to want it now because urgency. These things are not something that you wait, especially with the right sales process in place. It will attract price shoppers to some extent who won't necessarily become loyal. This is something that you definitely want to combat with better offers, better retention offers, memberships, incentives, where it has to be such a no-brainer that even someone who's mostly there as a price shopper would still find the reason to stay. And of course, it's pretty hard to walk back once you start. Clients kind of expect it annually. It's something that you definitely want to keep very restricted. This is where scarcity can guardrail against everyone just suddenly wanting those intros. If otherwise, it may just devalue your premium positioning. So as long as you use it tactically, as long as you use it as, hey, we have an opening in the schedule, hey, we've brought in a new member for Black Friday because we anticipate and we expect you guys to come in droves, then that's the logical rationalization as to why you're offering this special. So that's the key. That's the key, guys. There, you have to have a logical reason why you're offering the discount, so that it doesn't feel that you're just riding the same bandwagon as everyone else. From an operational strain, of course, be prepared to handle the scheduling. If it's too successful, you have to incentivize people to come out from their peaks. A lot of people will continue to want to book at the weekend. Do what restaurants do. They're running their specials in the week time. So you can do the same thing. Cinemas do that as well. 2 for 1, 20% additional off if you book in the week time. And that's how you basically distribute that need during the week time as well. Just consider that if you rush your appointments, you lower the quality, you get worse results, bad reviews. I don't need to tell you that quality should reign supreme in terms of your values, even in a very high demand scenario as a tentpole moment. Staff burnout may contribute to it. So again, look at your staff, see how stretched they are, and consider if you really need to go this aggressive. You might just need a little sprinkle of an offer. Maybe you don't need to completely flood your Medspa. And also you can do some very stringent qualification. If you're running a very aggressive offer and you're getting too much demand, just stick some questions in your forms, stick some questions in your script for your front desk to ask, and make sure that you're dealing with only the highest caliber of clients that you can actually afford to service without overstretching. And high volume of low quality leads waste consultation time, which is exactly why you want to prevent that. Make sure you have someone with buying intent with your questions and only service them. From a strategic risk, it conditions your thinking to rely on promotions rather than fixing core conversions. It can absolutely be a bit of a band-aid solution where if you're having sales issues, if you're not converting as highly as you should, then it kind of gets you comfortable because you know you can lean on these tentpole moments. And you have obviously now Christmas, you have Easter, you have all kinds of other holidays in between, 4th of July, and it kind of gets you expecting that spike of revenue that you're then going to ride out. And it takes away the incentive to crack your evergreen campaigns. So be very careful about that, because ultimately the evergreen campaigns are the ones that are going to ensure your steady month-on-month revenue. Do not mask underlying problems, because again, your base offer may be weak, your upsells may be not on point, and those things should always be the foundation. So in my opinion, we'll get to that conclusion in a second, these events should be run as a little boost, opportunistically, rather than as a way to remedy deeply seated problems into your business. From a client psychology, buyer remorse may be higher if they're making impulse and discount purchases. Again, justify them, give a good reason for them. It may attract clients who cannot actually afford ongoing treatments. So again, be very aggressive with your qualification. It may cheapen the luxury Medspa brand you're trying to build. Same thing, give that reason, justify it. And it could create internal conflict. Are you premium or promotional? Positioning is everything. The devil's in the details here. As long as you have a good reason, as long as you have a good pretext, is what I call it, for the marketing, then that's not going to be an issue at all. And so finally, if the ultimate real question here, the litmus test is, if you're using this as a strategic growth tool or a crutch masking poor conversion. So if you're consistently converting leads at 30-40%, then you're good. If you're just adding a bit of volume opportunistically, riding a little wave. If you're running them because you can't close leads at full price, because you're wanting to put a band-aid on your sales process or on your lead generation process, then I suggest you go back to the fundamentals and you make sure you have an offer that has good offer market fit, that is constantly in demand, and that's consistently generating high ticket treatments every single month. And then bring a layer of promotions. And this is applicable not for this promotion only, but for anything else that you're going to be promoting moving forward from now. And so in a nutshell, as a premium med spa, you can run a seasonal promo as accelerant. If you're a struggling med spa who needs deals to survive, like, there's no shame in it. You can absolutely create a bit of a cash grab, take that revenue, put it back into the business, cushion yourself for the next few months. It will give you peace of mind. It will give your staff a bit of stability as well, so you can give them the hours that they need, even if you're having maybe gaps in the schedule in the next 1 to 2 months. And it basically lets you get away with mistakes on sales and marketing until you figure out that evergreen flow for yourself as well. Of course, if you need a second opinion on your marketing, on your patient acquisition, we essentially work like fractional CMOs. So we're involved not in just lead generation and appointment booking, but in upsells and in the actual total line revenue that's produced. And so if you want us, medspapatients.com, we're here for your service. And if not, we'll see you into the next video.